For decades, the massive silhouette of an aircraft carrier has pretty much defined naval supremacy, right? These are floating cities that project power across the entire globe. But what if the next great leap in naval warfare isn't about getting bigger, but about getting smarter? And what if it means removing the human pilot from the equation entirely?
Okay, so let's really think about that question. This is the whole thing driving a revolution in military tech. Because the moment you take the pilot out of the cockpit, you change absolutely everything about how you design the ship that carries the aircraft.
And this is the answer. Say hello to the MRN Autonomous UAV Carrier. This thing is a total radical rethinking of a naval platform. It was designed from the ground up not for big jets with people in them, but for entire fleets of intelligent unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs.
So, what's the big idea here? What really truly sets this apart? Well, it all boils down to a few core ideas that make it completely unlike any carrier that's ever sailed the seas before.
You know, at its heart, it's a dedicated floating base just for drones. The entire platform, from the way it's physically laid out to its digital brain, is engineered for one single purpose: to launch, recover, and manage autonomous aircraft with the absolute maximum efficiency and the bare minimum of human help.
Let's put that into perspective. A traditional carrier, it's a masterpiece, for sure, but it's a masterpiece of logistics built around the very specific needs of human pilots and their huge, complex aircraft. The MMRN concept completely shifts the focus to managing a high volume of smaller, more versatile drones. This lets them run a constant tempo of operations all at once that a conventional carrier just couldn't dream of handling.
And the most obvious clue to this whole new way of thinking is the shape of the flight deck itself. They've completely thrown out the classic rectangular design for something way more efficient for drone traffic.
This blueprint gives us a fantastic look at the whole thing. Before we break it down, just look at the flow. Forget the single long runway you're used to. This is a dynamic space with multiple operational zones all working in parallel. This design is all about maximizing activity in a really compact footprint.
So why a hexagon? What's the magic here? Well, first off, it just gives you more usable surface area than a rectangle of a similar size. Drones can take off in multiple directions to match the wind, which is a huge plus. Traffic flows way more smoothly without creating bottlenecks. And the real kicker? You can have drones landing, refueling, and launching all at the same time.
So let's follow the workflow for a second. A drone comes in and is recovered on one of those circular landing pads. It's then moved over to a prep zone, like A1 or B3. There, it gets refueled and programmed for its next mission. From there, it's off to a launch ramp for a quick takeoff. It's just a continuous, logical, and really efficient cycle.
And you better believe this cycle doesn't stop when the sun goes down. The whole deck is kitted out with automated lighting and digital guidance systems. That means these high-tempo operations can run continuously, 24/7, whether it's a clear day or the middle of a storm.
But wait a minute, who's managing all this incredibly complex activity? It's not a big crew of flight controllers in a tower. Nope, the real commander of this carrier is an advanced artificial intelligence system.
Probably the best way to think about it is as a fully automated air traffic control tower. But instead of planes with people in them, it's managing dozens of intelligent drones at the same time, both on the deck and in the air all around the carrier. It really is the invisible heart of the whole operation.
And the AI's to-do list is immense. We're talking everything from scheduling flights and sequencing every single takeoff and landing to analyzing weather conditions and, this is the big one, making sure no two drones ever get in each other's way. It even manages emergency flight plans automatically if something goes wrong.
So where does this digital brain actually live? Right here, in the command tower. This structure is where you'll find the AI's computers, along with all the radar and communications gear it needs to have a complete, real-time picture of everything that's happening.
Okay, so you've got this hyper-efficient AI-managed drone platform. Awesome. But what can you actually do with it? Well, that's what we'll get into next, because its versatility is what creates a completely new kind of naval asset.
And the answer is pretty much anything. And that's the key difference. A traditional carrier is built for one main job, projecting air power. But because these drones can be equipped with all sorts of different sensors and payloads, the MRN carrier becomes a multi-tool. One day it's doing round-the-clock surveillance, the next it's a hub for search and rescue, or it's monitoring environmental conditions. It's just incredibly flexible.
And that versatility leads us to the biggest takeaway here. This isn't just about a cool new ship.
It's about a fundamental tectonic shift in naval strategy and how you project power.
You know, this quote from the design document just says it all perfectly. It's a new paradigm. The focus moves away from single, massive, and incredibly expensive platforms to a distributed network of smaller, autonomous, and way more flexible assets. And this table really drives that point home. Yeah, you see lower operational costs, and you see drastically reduced crew requirements, but what does that really mean strategically? It means for the same budget, you could potentially deploy multiple platforms instead of just one. You're not just saving money. You're creating a more pervasive, more resilient, and more intelligent network over a huge area.
So the most important point is this. We might be reaching the end of the era where bigger is always better. The future of naval power might look less like one giant hammer and a lot more like a swarm of intelligent, coordinated wasps.
Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating and kinda spooky final question. As this technology gets more and more advanced, are we looking at a future where the world's oceans are monitored and secured not by sailors, but by fleets of autonomous ghost ships, all commanded by a central AI? It really doesn't feel like science fiction anymore.